Okay, in this video I'm going to deal with the possibility of having data in a table that includes latitude and longitude and wanting to make those locations visible on the map and then, in a sense, permanently turning them into a feature class that is a point feature class. So what I have here, I'm going to show you the data, how it looks in a table in a couple of different ways. First of all, I have black bear roadkill data, and let me make this the right size for our viewing window here. So here's our data, and it's always important to kind of understand what you've got here. Now you notice X and Y are two fields here, and they appear to be latitude, or actually a longitude for X and a latitude for Y. We have an object ID, we have a reporting date, we have a region, we have locations, and then we have some attributes about the black bear that were killed. Now the other thing that we can notice here is that we actually have a location and a mile marker. Now later on we'll notice that this could be used as a linear reference, but in this case, because we have GPS coordinates, latitude and longitude, for each of the roadkills, we're going to use that to put the data into our map, and then we're going to make that data permanent. In other words, we're going to actually convert the data into a feature class. So what I've done is, I'm going to not move that, I'll just get it off our screen. What I've done is I've added the CSV file. In this case it happens to be a comma separated file, but again we could add a single workbook sheet from an Excel table as well. And once it's been brought in to ArcMap, and again we can add it just like any other data set, I always want to look at it, make sure that the table is okay. And again we're going to make sure this kind of fits to our screen here. And let me just do that real quick. This happens to be the roadkill data, and what I see is that it is, sorry about that, that's a little bit of the technical of this screen. Again, the data comes in the same way, everything seems to be alright, and so we're going to use this data to produce our points. And so we will next right click on the data, and you'll notice that one of our options is display XY data. Now it's really important to notice that word display. Display means I'm not making the feature class, I'm simply making the table visible. And so when we do that, again, display XY data, we used to call that adding an event theme. Okay, and you'll notice that actually it's still, they still say that in the little dialog box here, add XY events to a table. So I'm going to click on that, and we get this interface. Now, in this case, we could use X and Y, but oftentimes that X and Y may be a different way or a different coordinate system. And so I always look to see if there are geographic coordinates. In this case, there are. So again, X happens to be our longitude, Y is our latitude, and there is no Z field, that is an elevation field. And in this case, I know that the data, based on the resource that I got it from, is in fact in NAD 83. So GCS, North American 1983, is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to click OK. You'll notice that it says this does not have an object ID, so that's fine. We're not going to be able to deal with this at all, but we can extract, we can save the layer. So I'm going to hit OK, and there are my points. Now the points actually cover all of the state, and if I zoom to that layer, you'll see all of Florida represented by, again, these black bear kills. And in many respects, this layer has basic properties to it. In other words, I can do things, for example, like change the categories to, for example, something like for example, the sex of what was hit, male, female, and unknown. Apply that. But what I can't do is some of the basic querying tools. So that's the first step. The next step is actually quite simple. This, again, you'll notice says events, the events from the CSV file. So in order to make this permanent, what I'm going to do is right click on it, go down to Data, and I'm going to export the data. Now in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this to my iDrive. And again, you would be exporting this to wherever you had write access to. And again, I'm going to be putting this into our Intro GIS, week 5, and we're gonna call this Florida BB for Black Bear Roadkill. Now the important thing to note here is it says save in the coordinate system. Now you could, if you were exporting it into a different coordinate system, you could use your data frame. But in this case, since I've already set the layer source data, I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to hit OK. And you'll notice that it now converts it, and it's asking me whether I want to see it, and I say yes. And there we now have, again, this is in a geodatabase, and this is a feature class. So in that way, I have made a table of coordinate pairs and attributes into an actual point feature. Now we could export it as a shapefile as well, but most of the time I want to work within the feature class geodatabase format. Okay, in the next video we will be talking about basic editing. We'll see you then.